So I think, one of the questions that maybe, a lot of women maybe have on their mind, even before they perhaps, I think one is to just know their options. And you can maybe talk about that because everyone's maybe at a different stage in their journey. But the other question that perhaps a lot of women have on their mind is when, how important is it? How much do I prioritize it? Should I feel guilty about prioritizing my work? Or if not work, just whatever, doing my thing, So as leading women, and you all have worked in male-dominated fields, so it's not like you have an army of women around you that are having these conversations at work. You always feel that apprehension of, okay, I'm going to need to take that much time off. As a business owner, making sure you have a line that can, run the business for you. As an investor, with other partners that are, that are also looking for X number of deals to close. So how do you sort of navigate some of those questions? Ameera, what would be the advice or learnings that you would share from from your journey, or what you've seen around you with other women at work as well?
I think firstly, IVF usually has been a last resort. Right? It's like, okay, I've tried everything. I've tried naturally, I've tried IUIs, I've tried everything, and then I'll come to IVF. It's usually when you really want a child, you've wanted a child for 3, 4, 5 years, you've tried everything, and then you come there. And actually, all the women I've talked to, the hardest part of IVF is the emotional distress it puts you under. It's not the physical process that's as hard as the emotional distress. And that emotional distress is heightened when you really desperately want something. And you're like, it's so easy for everybody else to reproduce. What the hell is wrong with me? Right? That's the question that comes into your mind because you're waiting till a point where there's no other option, right? So I would only say that for learning for me, the process was 10 times probably easier for me than it probably was for Sakshi and Neha. And the reason for that was because I didn't do it when I absolutely desperately wanted it. I did it much in advance. So I did it at 32 and I actually didn't necessarily know I wanted children. So the emotional distress was not there. I was just saying, acha, take option kara do life mein. That in case I want to have children in the future, I'm not having like somebody saying, no, you can't. So for me, that was the biggest benefit out of doing it in advance, where you froze it. You can be doing 20 things in your life. I mean, I was taking my company public when I was going through IVF, right? So it's not like I had to quit my job, I had to sit at home, I had to do all of those things, right? You can do it side by side. If you work with a center or a doctor who makes it convenient for you and works around you, honestly, it's doable. So I would just say earlier the better. So you create all options for you in life. You're not ever in a place where somebody has to tell you no or you feel like you can't, because that not only changes your choices, it also impacts your self-esteem, right? And I think I've always believed the biggest asset we have in life is our right to confidence beyond anything else, right? And you don't want anything dampening that.
Sakshi, let me get the same from you.
Trying to repeat the question.
No, I was saying.
Sorry.
I was saying that
I was so involved in Ameera's answer. I forgot the question.
I was saying, everyone may be at a different stage in their journey, and also I think it's also just these are just interesting thoughts to know, to share. We all have friends. Daughters or cousins or, and these are, I think, just conversations and topics and thoughts that come up. And like Ameera said, so much of it is linked back to freedom of choice, to self-esteem, knowing what you may need to go through, and so on and so forth. So I was saying, of course, everyone may be thinking of different things. That's what she said. Sometimes IVF is the last thing you get to. But also, how do you navigate when should I make it a priority? Should I choose to sort of, whether it is get pregnant or go for IVF, choose to go on that journey? How will it compromise my other choices in life, whether it's work or other things?
I can reflect from my journey that I had to make a lot of choices. In my work, I have to travel like 2 days a week, and I was told like travel is a no-go. So that was a bummer. That means like I'm practically I'm like only 50% as efficient or functional. So that was a big challenge. I was told, I lift I do heavy weightlifting, and I'm a big gym fan. So I was told you have to give up weightlifting because weights is very anti-conception. Now this was advice given to me. I didn't know how to validate this. I just trusted what my doctor was telling me. So again, I was gutted because I couldn't, work out. I started gaining weight, and then more importantly, you have to give up alcohol. More
I love this.
Going out isn't as much fun.
The truth is
you know?
coming out.
So there's a lot of compromise, and yeah. And then when it doesn't happen, you're like, what the you know?
Absolutely.
So yeah, like at least I was personally impacted and also professionally impacted. The good news is that you're very hard on yourself, and you're trying to always meet this expectation and bar, but everyone around you kind of understands and sees you struggling. So at work as well, like folks were like, yeah, it's okay, you can't travel, just join on Zoom. And this was pre-Zoom era, but they were like, just join on video conference, it's fine, or skip it, it's no big deal. But I was like thinking, oh my God, I'm like, I'm going to lose a year and I wouldn't be able to add any value, blah, blah, blah. But I think the world around you kind of gathers around to support you, family as well. So they were, of course, like both professionally and personally at work front and at home. Everybody was standing by my side. But it's honestly your independent journey. As much as everyone is out there to speak to you and comfort you, you have to, really like drive strength from within and be your best friend and be kind to yourself. So I think through my IVF process, I learned to be a lot kinder to myself.
Which is amazing.
So,
Yeah.
that's been my biggest takeaway.
Neha.
No, I think, I think waking up late, which is what I did, and I feel like I wish somebody had told me when I was building Fiternity, because there was no way I would have thought about kids. But if this was an insurance policy that existed and I could avail it, I would have, right? And I think Manisha is here and she spoke about like this whole thing with Luma on no regrets. I mean, she's a founder. I think all of us here are financially independent. And I think biological independence is what egg freezing gives you. Because ultimately for me, I reached a point after multiple cycles and low AMH that I was told by my doctor that egg donor is the only option. I was lucky I was able to conceive with my own eggs, but I know so many women who have to take that decision, which I feel like is something you wouldn't want to. So if you've got to a place where you're financially independent, freezing your eggs is actually such a low sort of friction and such a quick, like it's a 15-day process, right? So I think, taking this decision at the right time, and even like I know so many women now are going for embryo freezing, being married. And that I feel is sort of a great way, even if you don't end up using those embryos at max, at least you'll know that you had the option to, right? And you can still get pregnant naturally, right? So nobody's stopping you to get pregnant naturally, but this I feel like is a great insurance policy. So yeah, that's my take.